In 1832, President Andrew Jackson destroyed the Second Central Bank of the United States. In 1835, he reduced the national debt to the lowest in United States history. The bold effort the present bank had made to control the government are but premonitions of the fate that await the American people should they be deluded into a perpetuation of this institution or the establishment of another like it. Within 3 years of abolishing the Second Central Bank, on January the 30th, 1835, President Andrew Jackson was attempted to be assassinated. Jackson was later asked what he considered to be the greatest achievement of his career. He replied, "I killed the bank." During the American Civil War, Lincoln bypassed the high-interest loans offered by the European bankers. In 1862, he issued debt-free notes called greenbacks to pay the costs of the Civil War. The government should create, issue and circulate all the currency and credit needed to satisfy the spending power of the government and the buying power of consumers. The privilege of creating and issuing money is not only the supreme prerogative of government, but is the government's greatest creative opportunity. By the adoption of these principles, the taxpayers will be saved immense sums of interests. Money will cease to be the master and become the servant of humanity. Democracy will rise superior to the money power. Before completion of his second term as president, on April 14th, 1865, President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. As the newly elected United States President, Garfield was publicly open about his views on the banking system. Whosoever controls the volume of money in any country is absolute master of all industry and commerce. And when you realize that the entire system is very easily controlled, one way or another, by a few powerful men at the top, you will not have to be told how periods of inflation and depression originate. Within a few weeks of making this statement, on September 19, 1881, President James Garfield was assassinated. As a former bank president, McFadden understood the banking system intimately. In 1929, the stock market crashed and the Great Depression began. McFadden blamed the Federal Reserve for causing the crash and fueling the Depression. In 1932, McFadden moved to induce charges against the Federal Reserve Board. We have in this country one of the most corrupt institutions the world has ever known. I refer to the Federal Reserve Board and the Federal Reserve Banks. This evil institution has impoverished and ruined the people of the United States and has practically bankrupted our government. This is an era of economic misery, and for the conditions that cause that misery, the Federal Reserve Board and the Federal Reserve Banks are fully liable. Following 2 unsuccessful assassination attempts, on October the 3rd, 1936, Louis McFadden was assassinated. Kennedy reduced the Federal Reserve's monopoly of the US money supply. On June 4, 1963, he signed Executive Order 11110. This granted United States notes backed by silver reserves to be issued by the Treasury Department. Within 5 months, $4.3 billion of debt-free notes were issued. Then on November 22nd of the same year, President JFK was assassinated. Following his assassination, the US notes were removed from circulation. A powerful warning had been delivered to future presidents. Did these brave men die for nothing? We need to ask ourselves, how much more blood needs to be spilt to end this system of financial slavery? We can no longer rely on our elected leaders to bring about the changes we need without our influence. We, the people, must act. We must unite and make our voices heard.